Hi there, I'm Lillian Larty, health and wellbeing specialist and work wellness coach. And today's live is on if you're feeling stressed, tired, anxious, or worried, but you're coping, then you really need to listen to this message. This message is for you. So, make sure you got a cup of tea. Hopefully, I'm not going to be long on this live. But yeah, it's just a quick message, just from conversations that I've been having with various people, individuals, and realizing how much as a society, as a world, that we get stuck in the mode of coping. And coping can seem like a really safe place to be in, but in fact, it's not. When we from the conversation that I've had, when I hear people say that they're coping with a certain situation that's making them feel stressed, or a certain situation that's making them feel worried or anxious, and they're coping, it can feel like you're actually in control, but really you're not. That situation, in fact, is controlling you. And to be in a place of coping is almost like being in that place of indecision, where you don't have to take responsibility of making a decision. You don't have to take responsibility of saying yes and no, but you're just like, let me just stay in this safe place and just mull here and just cope and just do what I can to get by. But in fact, it's not a good place to be in. And through my studies, when I came across the work of Dr. Selye, I'm sure that's how you pronounce his name, Selye, who came up with the different levels of stress. And one of the levels, in fact, is the middle level of stress, is the resistance stage, which is also known as the coping stage. So you've got your first stage, which is the alarm stage, the awareness stage of stress. Then you've got your resistance stage, which is your coping stage level of stress. And then you've got your exhaustion stage, which is burnout. Now, a majority of people that I speak to are in the coping stage, the coping level of stress, of anxiety, of tiredness, of worriedness. And what we tend to do is we dip in and out of that. So we dip out to get some relief in the form of holidays, in the form of having massages, in the form of doing breath work, in the form of whatever, meditation. We can even get ourselves lost in meditation. And then from that area of relief, we go back into the area of coping. Now, some people think that that is resilience. That is not resilience. Yes, resilience is the ability to bounce back. But do you really want to be bouncing in and out of relief into coping, relief into coping, relief into coping? In fact, it's a bit like, and I don't have an elastic band here. Well, you need an elastic band. Yes, I do have an elastic band. Let me pop it to here. I'm just getting an elastic band to demonstrate. Because it's like that. We've got our relief stage here, and then we stretched. We're relieved, and then we stretch. We're relieved, and then we cope. We relieve, and then we cope. We relieve, and then we cope. And, until we get to the point where what I call the wake-up call, or we reach that point of enough is enough. In some cases where the elastic band actually breaks, and we end up having a breakdown, we end up having a certain serious disease, we end up being divorced from our partners, relationship breakdowns in our family, and so many other things, losing the job, losing clientele, losing business. I remember being in that coping stage for years, even before I got into the arena of health, fitness and wellness, and working in corporate roles, in corporate jobs, in charity jobs, but I was traveling through London, and what I saw was people rushing through train stations, rushing through tube stations, holding a pastry in their hand, holding a coffee in their other hand, their ticket is in their mouth, they're holding their bag on one shoulder, maybe a rucksack on another shoulder, or whatever it is, umbrellas and things like that, carrying all this weight with them as they rushed towards getting their train to go into a job that they were coping with, to rush to go to a job that they were just getting by with, to possibly going rushing to see clients, into business, managing projects that was just causing stress and anxiety and worry. And I used to watch these people all the time as I also rushed towards a job that I didn't like. And I used to watch these people and I used to think, you know what? I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And I knew within me that it didn't feel right. It didn't feel the right way to live life for me. Now, for some people, they can do that year in, year out. And, you know, it not affect them in any undue way. But for me, mentally, physically, emotionally, it just didn't align to me at all. And, well, you know, I reached my, you know, enough was enough when I said, no, I can't do this anymore. So I left the corporate world, the organisations that I was working for, and branched into self-employment and being my own boss, which I had dreamed of since I was a young girl. But then still having that mentality of coping, being on that hamster wheel, feeling like you're in water, treading water and trying to keep your head above water to cope. But hearing messages that, you know what, you don't have to be living and working in this way. You can live in a better way, in a way that's less stressful, that's more calmer and have more balance. But for me, it felt like something that was out there. It didn't feel like it was something that was very, very close and easy to do. But the thing that keeps us stuck in that coping area, that coping mechanism, is stepping out in that place of what we call, can be feeling freedom, feeling freer and lighter. But what keeps us stuck is fear. What keeps us stuck is feeling comfortable. What keeps us stuck is feeling safe. Thank you for the hearts. What keeps us stuck is the known rather than stepping out into the unknown. And I've experienced this time and time again when I worked with mentors, when I worked with coaches, and knowing that I'd reached my enough, knowing where I had my wake-up call, which was the burnouts and the health crisis, and saying to myself, I know I can't keep going on like this. I know I can't keep living like this and being in that coping mechanism, that coping arena of trying to feel safe. But that I knew I had to step out of my comfort zone. I knew I had to step out of coping. I knew I had to, you know, that there was a better way of me living and working in a way where I had less stress, less worry, less anxiety, less depression, less feeling like I was treading water and trying to keep my head above water. But being in that arena of calm and spaciousness, that is what I yearned for, was spaciousness. I don't know about you, whether maybe your days are all constantly packed out, busy, 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 and you feel like you're making progress, and perhaps you are making some progress, but are you doing it from a place of effortlessness, from a place of ease, from a place of less stress, from a place of calm, which is what my motto is, living from a place of calm rest? Or are you in that place of coping day in, day out? And as I used the analogy earlier with the elastic band, you get a bit of relief and then you're stretched. You get a bit of relief and then you're stretched. You get a bit of relief and then you're stretched. But how long are you going to keep going like that? Yes, stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out of the zone of coping, stepping out of that zone of feeling safe does require you to make changes. It's going to require you to change your boundaries. It's going to require you to change your non-negotiables is going to require you to make changes to your lifestyle. And for many people, they think it's this huge, humongous thing that I'm going to have to make huge changes. No, you just have to make one change. You just have to take one step towards saying, yes, enough of it is enough of me living in that coping stage, that coping mechanism of what I'm calling life and living life. I want to step out and I want to be in that place of calm, balance, spaciousness. And that is the work that I do, is I move people towards living that life in calm, in balance, in spaciousness, because that is where I am choosing to live. I am no longer interested in living in coping. And when I feel tendencies of that creeping into my schedule, into my life, into my work pattern, I'm like, no. And my body instantly feels it as well. And I'm like, no, I'm not going back there. I want to live in the place of calm rest. I choosing to live in that place of calm, balance and spaciousness. I'm choosing to live in that place of effortlessness, ease, free, feeling freer, feeling lighter. And it is such a wonderful place to be and to live in. But like I said, it takes one step, one decision. And that decision for you today could be, yes, that's where I desire to live and work from. What is the one thing? What is the one step I can take today to move towards that? It doesn't have to be this huge, humongous, right, I've got to make 20 changes today. It doesn't have to be that way. Just take one step, one decision, and make that decision. Take that responsibility for your life rather than being dragged along by the community, by this, people say, oh, I'm not part of a tribe, I'm not part of a community. But if you are living in a space, in an arena of coping, you are being led by the masses, by what you see going on around you and thinking, well, because everyone else is living this way, it's okay. I'm coping, I'm getting by. But is that really good for your well-being? And like I said, are you prepared to be in that coping stage and then dip in and out of relief and coping? It's like a tennis game, isn't it? Ping pong ball. That's how you're living life. And rather than just being stable and saying, yes, I'm on this path, and the stability of being in calm, being balanced, living in spaciousness is a much safer place to be than in that ping pong of now I'm coping, now I'm not. Now I'm coping, now I'm not. Now I'm in relief, now I'm in stress and anxiety and worry and etc. Feeling tired and exhausted. That is not living, and that is not well-being at all, And it makes me smile when I see things and I hear things and people say, yes, but I'm doing my well-being practices, etc., etc. There's a difference between doing your practices and there's a difference between living in well-being. I'll say that again. There's a difference between living with doing your well-being practices, doing your breathing, your meditation, having massages, which are all brilliant. I'm all for that. And there's a difference in living, actually living it, embodying it, living it day to day. I left, one person reached out for me for some health advice, and I just reeled off, I think I must have reeled off a message about 10 minutes long or something like that. And she was so impressed with the advice that I gave her, or should I say suggestions that I gave her. And she was like, oh my goodness, Lilian, I'm so thankful for your time, for all that you've given me. Wow, this is valuable. These are, oh my goodness, where do I start to put all of this into action? And I said to her, for me, it was not a problem. I said, listen, I live, I sleep, I eat, and I move in health and well-being. That is me. I've embodied it, and I've embodied it for years. So if I hadn't, I wouldn't be able to have reeled off all the suggestions and the advice that I'd given this particular person. So I invite you to be in that place where you are embodying and living in well-being, which is why my email address is live in well-being. It's not cope today and then tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit of relief. I want to bring you along on this journey of living in calm, in spaciousness, in balance, in well-being. Not just in minute relief bits here and there. And it's like having little hors d'oeuvres as you go along and hoping that will keep you on the journey to your destination, to where I am absolutely going to be free of this. No, you won't be. You will sooner or later reach that point of breakdown. Trust me, I've lived it, I've done it, and I don't want to see that happen to you. So, if what I've shared resonates with you and you think, yeah, Lillian, actually you're speaking to me and I don't want to be no longer coping and treading in water and trying to keep my head above water. I no longer want to be on that hamster wheel and asking myself, when am I going to get off? When am I going to get some relief from this? But then knowing if I get the relief, having to go back into that same coping strategies, that coping mechanism, that world of coping. I want to be on that road, on that path to living in well-being, truly living in well-being, truly living in calm, in balance and spaciousness. If that is you, then I invite you to book in a free consultation with me, breakthrough stress consultation, free for 45 minutes. And let's see what the best strategy is for you taking those steps towards living in calm, living in balance, and living in spaciousness. And spaciousness, that spaciousness in your schedule, spaciousness in your life, spaciousness in your head, in your mind, spaciousness in your body, where you can wake up every morning with calm, with the intention of calm. Regardless of whether you've got children or not. I hear this all the time. People say, yeah, but you don't know my situation. I've got 5 children. I've worked with people with 5 children, trust me, and they have transitioned from living in chaos and I mean extreme stress to now living in calm, balance and spaciousness. It can be done. But if you're looking at the masses and following what the masses are doing, you're going to stay in that coping place. And it's only the few that are brave enough to say, yeah, you know what, enough is enough. I'm ready to make a change and I'm going to take that step moving forward. Again, I invite you to book in with me for a 45-minute breakthrough stress consultation. If it resonates with you, if it feels good for you, then do so. I will leave the details in the comments below this video. And if this resonates with you and you enjoyed this message, share it with others that you know, your loved ones, your colleagues, even strangers who you know are stressed, they're worried, they're tired, they're anxious, and they're saying, but I'm coping or I'm trying to cope. Share this video with them, please, because they don't need to live that way. You don't need to live that way. I chose not to no longer live that way. And there is freedom on the other side of saying, yes, I'm going to take this step going forward. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me on the live. Whoever is joining me on the live, thank you for the hearts as well. And I will see you in a next post or a next live. Take on board what I've shared and let's all together start living in well-being, living in calm, living in balance and living in spaciousness as well. Take care and I will see you soon. Bye.